Utnapishtim proposes a test to see if Gilgamesh is suitable for immortality. He tells him that he only needs to stay awake for 6 days and 7 nights. Tired from his long journey, Gilgamesh fails miserably and soon dozes off. The idea behind the test seems to be that in an immortal state, one is raised above the natural drives. But by submitting to these drives so quickly, Gilgamesh demonstrates that he's still very much at their mercy. When he awakens and realizes that he's failed the test, Gilgamesh is still vexed about his mortality, complaining, quote, "What should I do, O Utnapishtim? Where shall I go? Already the thief in the night has hold of my limbs. Death inhabits my room. Whereafter my foot rests, there I find death." But Utnapishtim prepares him to return home. At the urging of his wife, Utnapishtim decides to give Gilgamesh a present at his departure. And so soon he reveals a secret of the gods concerning immortality. This is what Gilgamesh was after in the first place, and only now does Utnapishtim explain how it can be obtained. He recounts that if Gilgamesh can pluck a certain underwater plant, it will make him, in a sense, immortal, since it has the property of restoring people to their youth. So Gilgamesh, with his boatman, Urashnabi, sails out into the deep water. He dives with stones attached to his feet until he reaches the seabed, where he finds the coveted plant and plucks it. Ecstatic, he's determined to bring it back with him to Uruk and give it to the old men so that they can become young again. It thus seems that his search for knowledge and immortality has finally reached a successful conclusion. Unfortunately, the great treasure is lost almost as soon as it's found. While Gilgamesh is bathing, an unseen snake steals the plant of immortality and disappears. The word etiology means the study of the origin of something. Thus, an etiological tale explains how something came to be. The story of the snake stealing the plant of youthful rejuvenation is clearly etiological, since it explains why snakes shed their skin. This is interpreted as a return to youth and thus as a sign of immortality. This episode presents another parallel with Genesis, where it was also a serpent which deprived humans of immortality there. Gilgamesh is distraught that now he has nothing to show for all of his efforts and his grand expedition has failed. Nonetheless, he returns to Uruk. At the end of the chapter, he's praised as follows, quote, "He was wise. He saw mysteries and knew secret things. He brought us a tale of the days before the flood," end quote. Here, he's lauded not for his courage or strength, but for his wisdom and experience. This confirms that the story itself is about a search for knowledge. Both Enkidu and Gilgamesh had their own quest in this regard. Enkidu's quest is to find out what it is to be fully human, and in this he succeeds. Gilgamesh's quest is in a sense the same, although his point of departure is different. He learns that being human means being finite and mortal, and that this is the human condition. Although he's not achieved immortality, he has at least learned something for all of his troubles. The final chapter recounts the death of Gilgamesh. Now that Gilgamesh has accomplished what he set out to find, his purpose has been fulfilled. The author addresses Gilgamesh directly, quote, "You were given the kingship. Such was your destiny. Everlasting life was not your destiny. Because of this, do not be sad at heart. Do not be grieved or oppressed," end quote. We're not told what Gilgamesh's response is, but the author clearly attempts to reconcile him with the human condition. An account is given of how the people of Uruk grieve for him and how his family and members of his court make offerings to the gods for him. Offerings are made to the gods of the underworld, including, quote, Ningazida, the god of the serpent, the lord of the tree of life, which invites another comparison to the story of the fall in Genesis. With this, the story of the great king Gilgamesh comes to an end.